Hey, 49ers faithful. We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates on our beloved San Francisco 49ers. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit that like button. This way, you'll never miss any breaking news or exciting updates about the Niners. Rumors are flying everywhere, and the NFL world is absolutely buzzing right now. Could Brock Purdy actually be on his way out of the San Francisco 49ers after this season? It sounds crazy, right? The Mr. Irrelevant, who became one of the league's most talked-about quarterbacks, might be packing his bags sooner than anyone expected. But when you start connecting the dots, the whispers start making a bit of sense. Reports from inside the locker room suggest that Purdy isn't entirely happy with how things have been handled this year, from offensive play calling to the lack of stability around him when key players go down. Add to that some quiet tension between Purdy's camp and certain front office voices, and suddenly the once unthinkable scenario becomes not so impossible. People close to the team have been hinting that the relationship between Purdy and Kyle Shanahan, while professional, has been strained at times. There are disagreements about how much freedom Purdy should have at the line of scrimmage, and some frustration about being treated like a system quarterback rather than a true franchise leader. The 49ers have been careful not to comment, but the silence is almost louder than a denial. Fans have noticed subtle changes in Purdy's demeanor during press conferences, fewer smiles, shorter answers, and that spark he had last year seems dimmer. Some analysts say it's just the grind of the season, but others think there's more brewing under the surface. When players stop feeling valued, even the best systems can start to crack. Purdy's story has always been about proving people wrong, from being the last pick in the draft to leading the 49ers deep into the playoffs. But maybe that same underdog mentality is now clashing with an organization that still sees him as replaceable. There's been quiet chatter about how the 49ers might already be eyeing potential replacements or planning for the future quarterback, just in case. That kind of talk doesn't sit well with a competitor like Purdy, who's built his entire career on defying expectations. It's starting to feel like the perfect storm, a mix of pride, ambition, and politics colliding at the worst possible time. Inside sources have hinted that Purdy's agent has been discreetly testing the waters, gauging interest from other teams that might be willing to give him both the contract and respect he believes he's earned. It's not about money, at least not entirely. It's about control, legacy, and how a quarterback wants to be remembered. Imagine being in Purdy's shoes, leading one of the best rosters in football, yet constantly hearing that your success is just a product of the system. That kind of narrative wears you down, no matter how mentally tough you are. And with every interception or off game, the critics pile on. Meanwhile, the 49ers front office has been non-committal about his long-term future. That lack of reassurance could be pushing Purdy toward the exit. Whispers around the league suggest that teams like the Falcons, the Steelers, and even the Commanders could be interested if he hits the market. Suddenly, this offseason could get very, very interesting. The tension is almost cinematic. You can picture the 49ers facility right now. Smiles in public, silence behind closed doors. Teammates love Purdy. That's undeniable. He's a locker room guy, humble, hardworking, and respected. But even loyalty has limits when the business side of football kicks in. If the front office starts entertaining the idea of drafting a new quarterback or making a splashy trade, it sends a message, and not a good one. Some insiders are saying that Purdy's relationship with offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak hasn't been as smooth as fans believe, with some play-calling decisions leaving Purdy visibly frustrated on the sideline. Cameras have even caught brief moments of tension during games, subtle glances that tell a bigger story. Everyone's trying to keep it quiet, but these things leak out eventually. It's the NFL. After all, nothing stays secret for long. There's also the emotional side of this, which fans sometimes forget. Purdy isn't just a name on a jersey. He's a guy who's carried immense pressure on his shoulders. Being the face of a storied franchise like San Francisco isn't easy, especially when the expectations are Super Bowl or bust every single year. That kind of pressure wears anyone down, and if Purdy feels like the organization isn't fully behind him, it's only natural that he'd start thinking about life beyond the 49ers. Some insiders have even hinted that Purdy's family has been encouraging him to explore his options, to find a team where he can grow without constantly being compared to legends or scrutinized for every throw. Whether that means a trade demand or a quiet parting after the season, the signs are starting to point in that direction. It's not official, not even close, but the whispers are getting louder every week. At the end of the day, this could all be smoke, the kind of mid-season drama that keeps the NFL rumor mill spinning. But if there's truth to it, we might be witnessing the beginning of one of the biggest quarterback storylines of the next offseason. The idea of Brock Purdy walking away from the 49ers feels surreal, almost like a plot twist in a movie no one saw coming. Yet when pride, perception, and pressure mix together, anything becomes possible. Maybe Purdy just needs a reset, a fresh start where he's valued for what he brings rather than where he was drafted. Maybe the 49ers are ready to turn the page and look for the next big thing. Either way, the noise around this story isn't dying down. It's only growing louder. And where there's this much smoke in the NFL, there's almost always a little fire. As the season winds down, the whispers about Brock Purdy's departure have shifted from impossible to plausible, and now they're teetering on probable. Every week brings new speculation, and people inside the league are starting to treat it as more than just gossip. There's talk that Purdy might quietly request a trade once the season ends, framing it as a mutual decision to protect both sides. From a PR standpoint, it would make perfect sense. No bad blood, just a quarterback seeking a new challenge. Still, behind the scenes, it feels like there's tension that's been building for months. Purdy's camp reportedly feels he's done everything asked of him, exceeded expectations, and still hasn't been embraced as the guy. Meanwhile, Shanahan and the 49ers brass seem hesitant to give him full autonomy over the offense. That tug-of-war has left both sides walking on eggshells, pretending everything's fine when the reality is far from it. If you followed the 49ers this season, you've seen the inconsistencies, flashes of brilliance followed by moments of frustration. The offense looks unstoppable one week and strangely conservative the next. Some insiders believe this inconsistency reflects the philosophical rift between Purdy and Shanahan. Purdy wants to play faster, trust his instincts, and take calculated risks downfield. Shanahan, ever the perfectionist, prefers scripted precision and minimal deviation. It's a clash of ideologies, not personalities, but it's still causing friction. The quarterback feels handcuffed, the coach feels undermined. It's a story as old as the NFL itself, creative talent versus control. The more you hear from around the locker room, the more it sounds like both men respect each other deeply, but simply see the game differently. When that happens, something eventually has to give. And if it comes down to choosing between the coach and the quarterback, history tells us who usually wins. Adding fuel to the fire are the whispers about front office uncertainty. John Lynch, the 49ers general manager, has reportedly had to walk a fine line between supporting his coach and keeping his quarterback happy. People close to the situation describe tension without confrontation. A lot of polite meetings that end with nothing resolved. There's also the business side of things. Purdy is still on his rookie contract, one of the best bargains in football, but that won't last forever. Once the time comes for a big money extension, the 49ers will have to decide if he's truly their long-term guy. If they hesitate, Purdy could beat them to the punch by asking out. Around the league, teams are watching closely, preparing hypothetical offers in case the door opens. It's not often a proven, young quarterback hits the market, and you can bet half the NFL would be lining up to make a pitch. Fans, of course, are divided. Some are heartbroken at the thought of losing the guy who helped restore stability to the 49ers quarterback position. Others think Shanahan's system can make almost any competent QB look good, so maybe moving on wouldn't be catastrophic. But even those who downplay Purdy's role can't deny his leadership and poise under pressure. He's become the face of the team, whether the front office admits it or not. Losing him would mean starting from scratch, risking years of chemistry for a gamble that might not pay off. Still, you can feel the fatigue setting in. The media speculation, the constant is he the real deal? Talk. And now the contract noise. It's all becoming too much. Every question at every press conference seems to circle back to Purdy's future, and it's clearly wearing on him. Even his teammates, while supportive, are starting to sound cautious when asked about it, like they know more than they're willing to say. What makes this rumor so gripping is how unpredictable it feels. A month ago, no one would have believed it. Now, you can't ignore it. It's that slow burn type of drama that the NFL thrives on. Not explosive, but persistent, like a quiet drumbeat getting louder every week. Purdy's performance on the field will obviously play a huge role in shaping what happens next. If he finishes the season strong and leads another deep playoff run, it could force the 49ers to commit fully. But if the team falls short again, the narrative writes itself. Maybe it's time for a change. That's how fast things move in this league. One bad loss can shift an entire franchise's direction. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, Purdy is just trying to play football and prove, once again, that he belongs, no matter what uniform he's wearing next year. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. When the offseason finally arrives, all eyes will be on San Francisco. Will they double down on Purdy and try to patch things up? Or will they quietly start fielding calls, testing the waters like his camp supposedly already has? Either way, the story isn't ending here. It's only beginning. Every great NFL saga has that one defining moment when everything changes. Maybe this is Purdy's. Maybe this is the chapter where he decides to take control of his own narrative, leave the doubts behind, and write his next story somewhere else. Whether that's Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Washington, or a surprise contender nobody's talking about yet. One thing's for sure. This offseason is going to be wild. And if the whispers are true, the 49ers might soon be looking at the empty locker of the man who went from Mr. Irrelevant to the most talked-about quarterback in football. Another layer of speculation revolves around the synergy between Chris Jones and the rest of the defensive line, particularly Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, and other emerging talents. Rumors suggest that coordinators are designing specific alignments that allow Jones to create chaos in the backfield while giving others freedom to exploit the disruption he generates. Fans are theorizing about a level of interior pressure that could rival some of the best defensive units in NFL history, imagining situations where quarterbacks are forced into hurried throws or the running game collapses under the weight of a relentless front. Analysts are considering advanced metrics like pressure rate per snap, sack efficiency, and defensive win rate, recalculating predictions to account for Jones' potential impact. Social media debates are reflecting contrasting viewpoints, with some fans predicting immediate dominance and others suggesting a short adjustment period as Jones acclimates to his new environment. Coaches are reportedly emphasizing communication, gap discipline, and timing, ensuring that rotations and stunts complement his explosiveness without creating vulnerabilities. Rumors also hint at potential cultural influence, as Jones' leadership and work ethic may raise standards across the roster. The collective anticipation is reaching a fever pitch as every facet of analysis, speculation, and fan enthusiasm converges on one undeniable conclusion. Chris Jones has the ability to reshape the defensive identity of the San Francisco 49ers in a way that commands attention from the entire league, generating conversation, debate, and expectation that will persist throughout the season. The broader NFL community is also responding to the Evans 49 heirs rumor with a mix of curiosity, excitement, and strategic recalibration. League insiders hint that this potential move may trigger cascading adjustments among other teams, including possible trades, free agent pursuits, and draft strategy reconsiderations to compensate for the competitive shift. Analysts highlight that teams facing the 49ers may alter defensive alignments, personnel packages, and coverage schemes well before the season starts, reflecting the far-reaching influence of one high-profile acquisition. Fans are actively speculating on social media about potential rivalries, game-changing moments, and the ways in which Evans' presence could redefine matchups against divisional opponents. Rumors also suggest that broadcasters and media partners are positioning themselves to capitalize on the story, planning special segments, highlight compilations, and narrative arcs that extend from preseason to playoff scenarios. Beyond tactical and media considerations, the move raises philosophical questions about player mobility, career management, and the evolving balance of power between franchises and elite athletes. Insiders emphasize that Evans' decision reflects a broader trend of players seeking both competitive environments and personal fulfillment, making this story resonate with a wide spectrum of stakeholders. As speculation solidifies into near certainty, the narrative continues to captivate fans, analysts, and insiders alike, positioning Evans' potential move as a defining moment in NFL offseason history. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.